Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of day it is, wherever you are right now. Thank you for tuning in to the Conversations with Dr. Don show. The show is produced and broadcast from the Portland, Oregon area of the U.S. And for your first-time viewers, Conversations with Dr. Don is an ongoing series of one-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people like most of you out there about who they are as unique, one-of-a-kind individuals and about whatever it is we have decided to talk about. And tonight, my guest, Duane Snyder, is going to talk about why it is he is an extraordinary plumber and why he's an extraordinary human being, which suggested to me that I invite him on the show to talk to you about those things I just mentioned. I want to repeat myself. I think you'll enjoy him. So how I met him was rather unique. There's a website called nextdoor.com where a talent like his is available for people in the area to learn to get help and contractors and those kinds of things. And anyhow, we hired him to replace a faucet in our kitchen and discovered some more stuff going on that is we're going to have him back to do some more work based on how he behaved installing that faucet. But anyhow, we'll get more into that later on as we get into the show. So the first part of the show will probably be 20 minutes or half an hour or so as I talk to Duane about who he is, and you guys can get an idea where he's coming from when he proves to you how come I see him as being extraordinary. Shake hands again. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
All right, so when and where were you born?
I was born in Portland, Oregon in '63.
63?
February 23rd.
Uh-huh. I got to warn you, now and then I'll ask a goofy question that throws a person off track, so I'll start right away with, why were you born?
I guess my parents wanted to start a family. And I was the first.
You were first. How many were after you?
I have another brother and a younger sister.
Uh-huh. Where were they?
They're up in Vancouver somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We're not real close.
Yeah. Anything significant about your cultural or national or racial heritage, or just plain old American white bread, which is good?
Pretty much. Yeah. Grandparents and my mom were from Philadelphia, Minnesota area on my mom's side. My dad's side is Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So how we ended up here, don't know.
But you're here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, good.
I like it here.
Mm-hmm. I love this part of the world, part of the country. Anyhow, if I were to ask your best friend, who is Duane? Be your best friend and answer that question. But pretend you're your best friend. Duane is what?
For the most part, a great, good, kind-hearted guy, a little grouchy at times.
And what else? What do you say about you?
He's honest, loyal to his friends, give his shirt off his back to anybody that he thought really needed it. I'm kind for the most part, unless you cross me.
We're not going to do that.
But,
not tonight, I know the time. You're kind of a big fellow, aren't you?
I guess, not too big. But,
no, not too big.
I don't know, I'm just, for the most part, try to be easygoing. I don't like to be, pushed around or taken advantage of. So.
Yeah, who does?
I try to, treat people the way I want to be treated.
Yeah. How about a religious preference? You ever had one of those, or you got one nowadays?
Christian.
Christian? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm a recovering Roman Catholic kid, grew up that, and right now I see myself as an agnostic. I'm not too sure about things like that. I just like to be nice and, as my sign says, be kind. And
it's always good to treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
So.
How about your formal education? How much schooling did you get?
Well, I made it through the 10th grade, got a GED, and then
I got one too many years ago.
Went to Oklahoma and got a degree in diesel mechanics, and came back here and didn't really care for that line of work, and so I was head mechanic for a shop for a while, and then got out of it, and then kind of fell into plumbing and construction work, remodeling, things like that, and had a knack for it. So
how'd you fall into plumbing?
was unemployed, needed some work, and a guy needed someone to dig a ditch around a house to put a drain pipe in, and shovel had my name all over it, I guess.
Yeah. How about any other education outside of school and formal stuff? Education of hard knocks or something like that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I know what that's like.
Yeah, I've been to that school once or twice.
Yeah, I dropped out of junior high. Yeah, and many years later, I went back and got a GED and kept going and kept going and kept going, and it's still going on. I still like to keep learning, you know?
Yeah, education's a good thing to have. Power is knowledge. Or knowledge is power, excuse me.
Yeah, yeah. You're still learning?
Yeah, I learn all the time. I learn every day. I mean, every time you go to work on someone's house, you run into something someone else did before you, or they're always changing technology.
And you're staying up with it?
As far as the basic codes and stuff like that, yeah. In the way of plumbing materials and stuff like that, they're always changing them. You know, faucets and designs and stuff. It's challenging to stay up with every model of faucet they come out with every year.
As I learned in meeting you in the last couple of days about beyond just the faucet that you changed in the kitchen, you discovered something in my pipes that still has my heart aflutter. Galvanized pipe in an old house, and they're clogged up, and we got to replace them, huh?
Pretty much. They stopped using galvanized in the early 70s, and they switched over to copper. And then from copper, they went into the PEX piping and stuff like that, CPVC and different, lines of PEX.
That's a plastic pipe?
Yeah, polyethylene cross-linked is one of them.
Yeah. And you have a partner, a wife, boyfriend? This is a regular question. Girlfriend, anything like that at all?
At the moment, I'm single. Just ended a relationship that needed to be stepped back from on both sides.
Sure.
So we still talk, and we're business partners, and we're going our separate ways there too.
Yeah.
But we're making the best of it. So.
Yeah. And you got somebody to talk to about the grieving process and what's going on?
I am discussing it with a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
So
that always helps, no matter how strong you think you are.
Well, mainly I just don't want to make the same mistakes in the future that I made in the past. So if I can, do something about it now and stop and break the cycle, then I'll be better off in the future.
Yeah. What's wrong with her? How come she didn't see the kind of man that you really are?
Oh, probably because I might have pushed her away being too irritable and bossy. I don't know.
Okay. I almost put my shrink hat on, but I gotta put that aside now.
Well, I'm kind of a perfectionist. I like everything to be done a certain way, and I'm picky about how things go. I don't like to see things, half undone or whatever. And sometimes, as long as I've been doing this kind of work, I've found the easier, softer ways to get it done, and I don't have a lot of callbacks or anything like that. Usually when I'm done with a job, I'm done with it. Mm-hmm. And the customers are usually always happy. You always got that one here and there that, you might not please to their satisfaction, but
sure. But
for the most part, I don't know. If it has a place to be in, that's where it should be in.
So how many years you been doing plumbing?
I've been doing plumbing and remodeling for 32 years this June.
Plumbing and remodeling.
Yeah.
What does that mean, remodeling, beyond just plumbing?
Additions, bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, fences, decks. Mm-hmm. We took a roof off a single-story house early on in my career and added a second floor, re-roofed it, and put some stairs going up to it. added onto the house.
You got a
was
little
one of
bit
the-
of experience then,
That
huh?
was one of the first jobs I ever did. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I had some good mentors in the trade that taught me, what I know. So I learned old school.
Yeah, okay. You're licensed,
Yes.
and you have all that insurance
I have a
stuff.
CCB, bond, insurance,
Mhm.
and we're still working on a couple of the licensing things that I need, and we're switching the company over from a company I had over in Eastern Oregon back over to Duane Snyder Plumbing and Remodeling.
That was near Bend?
Well, I had High Desert Plumbing over there,
Uh-huh.
but I've been licensed either in Washington State or Oregon State for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a few moments where I had medical issues where I dropped out of the game for a while.
Mm-hmm. You want to comment on those medical issues, or you want to let them go?
Oh, a couple heart attacks and had a
A
stroke.
couple of heart attacks?
I've had 3 heart attacks and a stroke.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I haven't had one for quite a while. I'm healthy. I'm doing well. A little overweight, but that's what happens when you get up in your older years sometimes.
Tell me about them older years, man. Yeah. And so you lived in Portland and worked in Portland as a plumber too for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I've worked for plumbing shops and stuff
Uh-huh.
early on. Got my start with Larson & Son Plumbing.
But you're going to be reestablished here in Portland again.
Yes.
In Beaverton.
Yes. We're in the process of DBA and everything, and getting our EIN number, and getting the bonds and insurance and everything switched over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just going to take us a little bit of time. Got a few things with the state we got to straighten out, but we're in the process of it.
I'm smiling right now because I'm thinking about a dumb thing I did yesterday, which illustrates how calm and easy you can be. Because I wrote a check for you for installing the faucet. We're going to go to the rest of this work you're going to do for me later on. And I wrote a check out, but I didn't fill the check out properly. And you called me back from the credit union where you're going to deposit the check, and you said you screwed up on the check. And I was so embarrassed. I was so excited about you telling me this additional work until you came by the house and got a proper check, and they accepted it.
Yes.
It's going to bounce anyhow.
Well, I guess I'll have to learn how to play basketball.
So that was delightful. And then our whole interaction personally has been just a pleasure. Anything we talk about, you're easy to be with. So anyhow, she didn't see you clearly, like I can. So let's see, any children or grandchildren?
I have 3 daughters. They live up in the Pendleton area, Hermiston area,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not close.
Okay. And politically, are you left, right, or center, or what?
Probably an independent.
Mm-hmm. Good on you. Good on you. Yeah. You have any memberships in political or
No.
social organizations?
No, I've got friends that are down at the Legion, so I'm thinking about joining the Legion.
Good organization.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we've been talking about it. I just haven't got to it. I used to be a member of it, but I didn't know anybody in the hall here in Tigard, so now I do.
Yeah.
So
Those kinds of organizations are good.
yeah, they are.
Part of the American tradition. Any persons whose names you recall that you look up to or admired that from the past or today nowadays, you think about people that impressed you, that you liked? School teacher or something?
Early on, when I was a kid growing up, a gentleman named Dick Easter taught me a lot about running equipment and cam club developing, things like that. And then the guy that taught me plumbing, Bob Larson, he's passed, but he was a good mentor. He taught me a lot, and he taught me how to do it right. And
Mm-hmm.
so,
Did he like you?
yeah, he did. He used to call me his little tiger. Go get him, Tiger.
Yeah. Do you find the media, internet, newspapers, magazines, do you find it interesting to stay up with what's going on in the world?
I don't watch a lot of news, and I don't stay up with a lot of
for you.
that.
Okay. Okay, I got a loaded question for you.
Okay.
What's wrong with America nowadays? And you don't have to answer these questions. 'Cause I'm going to ask you what's right when you're through with that.
I don't know.
It's our country.
I think they're taking too many of our rights away.
Okay.
But without some of the rights, can you imagine what this world would be like without them?
Yes.
So there's pros and cons to both sides.
I'm hearing about your moderate nature.
Well, I'd hate to walk the streets if we didn't have police officers. So,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
Whenever I see in the supermarket or someplace, I feel the same way about firemen, too. When I see them, especially with all that gear in there doing the shopping, I make it a point to thank them.
yeah,
The
they do a
job they
great
do
service.
for us,
Without them, we'd have some serious problems. I will agree to that.
I wouldn't be around. I wouldn't hang out. I'd go to Colombia or something. No, some other place.
We have some great first responders.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they've saved me a couple of times when I've had heart attacks. So
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm still here.
In all your glory. Well, how do we fix what's wrong with America? What needs to be improved?
That's up to Trump.
You think he's going to do it?
I think he's got a fair shot at it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not a politician. I stay away from that stuff.
probably better off.
I'm not smart enough to run the country.
At least you're honest enough to admit
Yeah.
it. Neither me. What makes you smile nowadays?
I don't know. Enjoy what I do. Friends.
That's a dumb question for this time in your life.
Yeah, well, you still got to stay positive. So, you got to take the good with the bad.
Mhm.
And I just look at it as a growing experience, and hope to remain friends, and move on, see where it goes from here. So,
Who gives you a hug now and then?
actually, the last hug I had was from the woman I'm not with anymore on my birthday. So,
Okay. You're looking forward to the next one gives you a big sweet hug?
I don't know.
You ever hug a man?
I have.
I thought you did. Yeah. So much for who you are. So let's take a break and kind of look at some signs, and then we'll come back and talk about why you are an extraordinary. All right, we're back. Thanks for staying tuned. And for you viewers who missed the opening of the show, Conversations with Dr. Don is an ongoing series of 1-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people like most of you out there about who they are and whatever it is we want to talk about. So we were talking about plumbing, Plumber Extraordinaire, Duane Snyder. I don't do good with my memory is very short. So, now let's see, what are we going to talk about now? What is it about you that you think is extraordinary, other than just an average plumber? And I think I've got some clues from what you've been saying so far.
Well, whenever I go into any job, I pay attention to detail. And, you know, a lot of people want to go in and just tear something apart. And I look at it as, you know, the house was put together a certain way. You have to disassemble it a certain way to get to the part you have to repair. So, you know, taking precautions to, you know, lay down paper or drop tarps for the floors. You know, having shop vacs and the proper equipment for opening up a wall so you're not creating dust. I mean, we've even built fake plastic walls around areas just so we could contain it because there was going to be a lot of it. So, you know, and making sure that the weather and stuff doesn't, you know, interfere with whatever your project is or your materials, and try not to leave people without, you know, anything that it's essentials that they need at the end of the day. Sometimes you can't avoid it, but it happens.
So are your customers pretty well satisfied when you finish the work?
As a rule, yes. I mean, every now and then you're going to have that one, like I said, that, you know, you're never going to totally satisfy, but I've found that communicating with them, let them know what's going on. If you're going to be late, call them. If something changes in the schedule, someone gets sick or whatever, let them know right away. That way it doesn't interfere with their day too bad. Just keeping them in the loop and, you know, taking care of their property when you're working on their homes, you know, goes a long ways. You know.
Do you pretty well stick close to your guesstimate of how long it takes to do a job?
Usually, but I mean, every job has its own surprises, and, you know, things change. So.
You got any unusual surprises that you can tell my viewers about, in case they've got one for you when you do the work for them?
Well, every job's different. Every job comes with its own surprises. So, you know, until you open up a wall, you never know what you're going to get into. So. Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get. Remember that movie? Tom Hanks? Never mind. Just into something else. How long you're going to keep working at this trade and remodeling stuff?
Well, I'd like to retire someday, but even if I hit the lottery, I'd probably still work. I mean, I enjoy working with my hands, and the thing I like about this Nextdoor.com is you're working with your neighbors.
Nextdoor.com. Go to that site. That's really terrific. We've gotten a lot of help and bypassed a lot of the hype and the commercial interests in advertising like that. It's like a personal, person-to-person, neighbor-to-neighbor, and it's really a wonderful site. It's not shown on the screen now. Nextdoor.com.
Yeah.
All right. So now, what else that you've done in your life that shows that you are an extraordinary human being, other than talking about your character and what's important to you as a human being? Anything else come to mind?
When I was younger, I did a lot of stuff up at different camp clubs and stuff like that, building trails and things. But for the most part, I've been doing, you know, the construction for so long that, you know, when you get home, you don't have a whole lot of time. But, you know, if someone called me up and said, hey, they need my help, I'd be there. So.
All right. So, any politicians in your lifetime that you appreciate or admire for what they did?
No, I don't have much of a political view.
Yeah. Are people living responsibly in this world? We're talking about global warming. and contaminating the atmosphere and those kinds of things. And some people are saying that humans' behavior on the planet are causing some of these problems, are causing the acceleration of them. Do you think there's such a thing as global warming?
Well, the scientists do, so I have to go off of what they're based on because I don't have the facts.
Yeah, neither do I, but there are a few people who try to dispute that or disagree with it. There's no such thing as global warming. And I think the icebergs and Arctic is melting, so there's good evidence there. Okay. What in life today gives you the most dissatisfaction? These are philosophical questions.
Yeah. I don't know, probably the way people treat other people.
Yes.
I mean, I think if everybody treated each other better, this world would be a better place. And, you know, I don't know, I try not to get involved in political stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I believe they're taking parenting out of the home and trying to put it in the schools, and if that's right or wrong, I don't know. I'd rather, when I was growing up, the parenting was definitely in the house.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't go out and shoot anybody. So
Yeah.
that might offend some people, but, you know, I was always kind of on the go as a child, always doing whatever, getting into things, a little mischief, but I turned out pretty good. I mean, I don't lie, steal, cheat. I'm pretty honest. I don't take advantage of people. And, you know, something may be right, a decision might be right for somebody else that I have to make where it doesn't benefit me to the fullest, but if that's, you know, the better decision to make, then that's usually the decision I would make. So I just went through a little bit of that here recently too. So,
of course.
But I don't know, I just, you know, everything I have I've earned by working hard for it, and every time I go out onto a job site, you know, I do the best job I can. I don't cut corners, I don't use cheap materials. I make sure the job site's cleaned at the end of each day. And, you know, I just try to be a man of my word and follow through with everything I do. And when things change, as sometimes they do, communicate with people. Let them know what's going on. That way you're not raising their stress level, you know, over trying to get a house done. You know, you tear someone's bathroom or kitchen out, or, you know, do an addition, you know, after about 30 days, people start getting irritable because they want their house back. So, especially if it's a bathroom or a kitchen. So,
this is interesting for me personally because I'm an old-fashioned liberal, and I don't have many conservative guests on, but I do have them on now and then. But I like to calibrate myself to be sure I'm objective. So if I ask you a question, and I kind of expect the answers I'm going to get, but I want my viewers to know that I'm objective and I want all views available. I've had people who were on my show guests, and I thought I knew what they're going to be like. And 5 minutes into the show, the camera's rolling, and I made a mistake. But you live with what you get.
Well, I'm pretty much what you see is what you get. I kind of wear my emotions on my sleeve, and if I have an issue that something's bothering me, I usually pretty much let you know about it. So
that is so helpful, so useful, yeah.
Sometimes I get in more trouble than not, but yes. Sometimes I hurt people's feelings, but I don't know, I guess you can pretty much always know where you stand with me. And I try to, you know, be considerate in how I voice what I say, but sometimes with people that are really close to me, I don't candy coat it too much.
Yeah.
So
it can depend on what you're saying is being true, yeah. How about, apparently, it seems like you're a Trump supporter and what his followers are about.
Well, he's done well for himself, and right now we need jobs and we need to get people back to work. We need decent medical in this country. We need, better education. I mean, if we can't educate our kids, what's this world going to be like?
Right.
And if we can't put them to work, how we're going to support ourselves.
How are you going to educate them when they're too busy on their cell phones?
Well, that's true too. But
what do you think about the laws that tell people you can't drive and do your cell phone? Do you think that's too fair, unfair?
no, actually, I think that's a good law. I mean, if you're going to be driving, either wear an earpiece or have a hands-free device. I mean, too many people looking down, I mean, you're just looking to hurt somebody. And, we're all guilty of it at one point or another. So.
I got 2 seconds. Hey, call me back later. Pull over.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of devices out there that are inexpensive, if you have to take a call, have a headpiece or something.
Sure.
Or pull over. So.
What about immigration? I think I know how Trump feels about immigration. How do you feel about immigration, the number of foreigners or people from other countries coming into our country, at least?
Well, I think we're all foreigners of some sort at one point in time. But I believe that if you're going to be in this country, you should be in here legally and, follow the rules that our government set up.
Absolutely.
So if you're not here legally, you should be trying to get legal, I guess.
Yeah.
But there again, I was born and raised here, so, I'm kind of prejudiced.
Kind of. Me too.
So.
But I'm concerned worldwide. There's so many countries falling apart, and there's so many people who are homeless. And something
if you
about
drive
us,
around Portland, you see a lot of it.
and it's sad, especially in Portland, as liberal, pardon me, as it is, that we have this situation and the evidence, and you try to clean up the homeless situation, and they just move from one location to another.
Well, I don't understand why the city or the state or whatever, with some of these warehouses that we have sitting empty and abandoned,
Yeah.
why they can't do something with one of those, to get the people off the streets, to help them out, especially in the wintertime. I mean, I know the government's doing what they can, they're limited funds, but I mean, I just feel something more could be done.
How do we get some more funds into the government so they can do more?
Well, they'd probably say raise taxes. But
What do you say,
I
Duane?
say taxes are high enough.
But we can't print the money. Well, we're doing
No.
it anyhow. Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not a politician.
I'm not
stay
either.
out of it.
I'm not
I just think that somehow, some way, things could be a little different than what they are. So
We can do better.
I believe so.
And I'm deliberately choosing a few questions that I think we think differently about, and I want my viewers to know that I want to hear both sides, even
Sure.
if you and I are live on the cameras,
Yeah.
So, okay. Did you watch the games?
The Olympic Games?
Yeah.
I've seen a little here and there. I'm not really into a lot of different sports.
Mm-hmm.
The woman I've been with recently got me into football, and I enjoy that. I enjoyed watching it with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned a lot. She taught me a lot about the game. So definitely have a better understanding of it now than I did before.
All right.
But,
what would you hope that people would say about you after you're gone? What do you think they'd say about you?
probably that I was a good contractor or I did good work. They'd probably say I was kind of rough with my opinions and the way I spoke to people. But I don't know. I'm not really sure. You'd have to ask somebody that knows me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to think that, I was a good person or am a good person. I mean, everybody has their moments where they're difficult and, ornery and, I'm not sure the words I'm looking for here, but,
It's
being a
working.
pain
It's
in the
working.
rear. So,
Now, you have any relationship you had with a customer before you did some work for him that was kind of unusual, that you could tell a little story about? And,
probably, but my mind's drawing a blank at the moment.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah. So, what do you think of Bernie Sanders?
Is that a politician?
You know Bernie Sanders. You guys don't recognize the left wing. He's as far left as you can go. Of course, he's one of my heroes, of course, And as time has gone by, there have been people in the past who are politicians who I didn't think very much of, but as time has gone by, I find overall they were good, responsible citizens, like Jimmy Carter, for example.
Yeah, I was pretty young when he was in office.
Okay, I forget you're a youngster yet. Yeah.
What was that, 70s?
Uh,
Early 80s?
no, just this last election cycle for the presidency, he ran for the president.
Jimmy Carter?
Jimmy Carter was way back then. Yeah, I moved ahead on you that time. Yeah, and he's got Habitat for Humanity, and now I guess he's recognized around the world where if there's elections going on, he's being really objective to be sure that those elections are fair. He's done really good work. And his presidency, at the time, there were things about him, either extreme left, extreme right, but nothing stood out about him. But since he's left the presidency, he's done really good work as far as humanity is concerned.
The Habitat for Humanity programs that they've got going, you can get some pretty good building materials in there for a really good price. And you can also, if you have materials that you don't need anymore, you can also donate them and also get a tax break for donating them there too. I've picked up a few items in there over the years here and there that I have a client that needed some toilets and she couldn't afford them. And we went down there and got them for $10 a piece, and I went in and installed them for her. She was on a fixed income. But that was one way that the Habitat for Humanity helped her out. Yeah. So people donating materials and stuff that they don't need, they're in still good shape.
This woman who you got the toilets for, did she appreciate you doing that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she really did. She was having all kinds of problems with them, and they were leaking, and they were just old, and there were fractures in one. There was a fracture in one of them, and another one she had shut off because part of the tank had gotten busted. It had cracked down the side, so she just had to shut that one off. The other one, I can't remember exactly what was wrong with it, but it was leaking too. So we went down and just picked her up some. They were $10 a piece. We just went and picked her up to them and went and installed them. So.
Are you some kind of a do-gooder?
Well, I don't know.
I got you. Yes, you are.
I don't mind helping somebody out.
Even Trump supporters are do-gooders too.
But I don't know. Like I say, treat people the way you want to be treated. If you know somebody that really needs help and you can help them, why not?
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of them out there that want help that don't really need it, that can do it for themselves too, that just want to get someone else
trying to work the system. Yeah.
So the door swings both ways.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, what's going to happen? I'm going to stretch you now. What's going to happen in the Middle East between Palestine and Israel?
Couldn't tell you.
I couldn't either.
I have no clue. I very seldom watch the news. And I can't remember when I picked up a newspaper last, other than to see what kind of job offers and who was hiring and what kind of, what was going on with, the construction world. So I'm just not politically interested.
You ever go to movies?
I do, once in a while.
What's one of your favorite movies?
I don't know, I like action movies myself.
Oh, yeah? You like war movies?
Some, if they're not real slow.
Yeah, I like war movies too, and I'm not supposed to because I'm a liberal.
I like comedies, I like action. I like romance movies once in a while. So.
You remember one you seen recently to see if I saw it?
We just took, me and my girlfriend took her son Braden to a movie, and I'm trying to think what it is. It's been a month or two ago. Yeah, guys.
How about television? What do you watch regularly on television besides football?
I like Blue Bloods and NCIS LA and
My wife likes those.
And Criminal Minds, things like that, for the most part. I don't know. I'm kind of boring when it comes to stuff like that. I kind of stick with a couple of different shows, like Family Feud. But.
Okay. Can you think of another customer you had an interesting connection or misconnection with in your work?
We were doing a house years ago, back in the early 2000s, where we were doing a remodel on it, and I had a plumber in there, and the contractor, we were going to add a bathroom, and the contractor, we were getting ready to, there was a huge glue lamp. It was like 3 foot tall by, I don't know, it was probably 8 inches in diameter. Can't really remember the size, but we were going to 90 down around it because you don't touch glue lamps without a structural engineer's, written permission. And the customer didn't like it, so the contractor said, hey, put an X on that beam where that pipe would have to go through. So we did, and he brought me a structural engineering letter saying that it was okay to drill it there. We drilled it, and it turned out he was wrong.
Who had to pay the price for that?
My insurance company did, but they said it was cheaper to pay for it than it was to fight it. But I was in the right. So.
Win a few, lose a few.
Yeah, well, I've never had any claims against me or anything like that. Like I say, I use the better materials out there. I don't cut corners, and if I'm not happy with it, my customer ain't going to be happy with it. So, regardless what it is, if it's a deck, a fence, siding, plumbing, whatever, electrical. It's just a matter of having qualified people to go out there, to install the stuff that needs to get put in. So if you got that, and you're on the same page with the customers, you usually don't have any problems. So.
From what you said about growing up, and my impression of you is, how did you get the personality that you have? Did you get that more from your mom or your dad, or what?
Probably my mom. My mom worked for the feds before she passed away for BPA, and then
Bonneville Power Administration.
Yeah, she was in payroll, but she was also a real estate broker, and sold real estate. So we bought and flipped a lot of houses, and did different things. So. My mom has always had her hands in something. So, but pretty much, I went from being a mechanic to doing construction work. And like I said, I had two really good mentors, that taught me the plumbing and the remodeling side of it. So, so I learned from some people that were old school, that knew how to do it, that did it right, and they taught me the right way to do things.
Any of them around today that you could tell them what you think of them?
Maybe one of them, but I don't know where he is anymore. We had disagreements on when we were working on my house. But But yeah, it's neither here nor there. He's a good guy, and he taught me a lot, and I respect him for that.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes friends shouldn't be in business together.
Oftentimes.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a good guy. He is, and the guy who taught me plumbing, he's passed away, but I was the last person that he taught. So.
Did you have formal apprenticeships at that time, or did you?
Yeah.
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 My first job out of the Army, I was in the occupation of Yokohama, Japan for 27 months, end of World War II. When I came back, I goofed around for 6 months or so, and found a job at a contractor, and it comes to mind right now, and he had me laying out where we're going to dig the trenches for the foundation.
Oh yeah.
It's different. Was different then than it is right now. It's just automatic, you know.
Back then, you're probably doing it with a shovel.
That's right. That's the point I was getting to.
Now we have laser-guided tracos and all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I was way ahead of my time. Driving nuts nowadays because things are so technical and so far advanced. I'm way behind the times. I bought a new movie camera just recently because I thought I was going to do that, and then I tried to read the instructions, and I said, that's way beyond me. I don't want to get involved in that stuff, man. It's too damn
Well, first
technical.
of all, you got to find our language. Now they give you a set of prints that looks like a dictionary in every language.
Oh, man.
So.
And the instruction book on how to operate the camera and set it up like that, I couldn't believe it. It's such small print.
Yeah.
I couldn't read it. I had to go to Office Depot and print an oversized view of the pages so I could, and by the time I got to that, where I could finally read it, I says, I'm through with this, I'm going to send that sucker back. I'm too old for this kind of stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
So,
Might have found it online.
Huh?
Might have found them online.
Yeah, you're way ahead of me there, too.
Yeah, I'm not much into computers. I just recently, as of today, actually got a new CPA and stuff that's gonna get my company legally up and running all the way with the books and everything, and keep everything under control for me.
Mm-hmm.
The office stuff isn't really my forte. I'd rather be out with the customers, hands-on.
So as it seems that maybe it'll be a little while before you get going sort of up to speed in the Portland area again, and I suspect that you're going to be quite successful here.
I was real successful in the 90s and the early 2000s, and then I moved over to the Sun River Bend area, Lapine, and did quite well over there. We're trying to get our we have locating equipment too that we're trying to get going. We do the private side. 811 does the main utilities, and then they stop at the curb or at the meter or something like that. But we take on the private side of it. We've got a camera that'll go from 2-inch pipe to 12-inch pipe and go out 325 feet. And then we've got, it's all state-of-the-art rigid stuff.
You've got this now?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so we can video camera inside of pipes. We can locate utilities in the yard, things like that.
You're calling back unpleasant memories. Yeah.
Yeah, next thing I want to do is get a leak detector so we can find leaks in water lines and stuff.
Is that expensive?
They run between $1,500 and $3,000 depending on what you buy.
Mm-hmm.
But just like my reel with the camera on it was $9,000. So the stuff's not cheap.
So you got to charge a few nickels, huh?
Yeah, yeah. We spent quite a bit of money a couple of years ago, about $16,000, just to set it up. So yeah, it's expensive to get into, and it's you have to maintain it. We had a head go out, which is about that big around and about that tall, and they're $1,250 just the camera lens.
Oh.
Yeah, so you got to really watch what you're running into, make sure people aren't dumping, boiler water or something down through the pipes and stuff. But yeah, that's a whole nother field in itself that's really interesting. So But when you're out there, working, you got to know where stuff is.
Yeah. So if you got the right equipment, then the work comes easier.
Yeah, my roommate wants to put a garden in, but he knows the cable goes through there, so he wants me to go out and locate the cable for him. We just located the sewer the other day and cambered it for him, so we knew where it was and how deep. He's got a backhoe or a trackhoe that he's going to get out there and dig up an area.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to locate everything before he does it.
So is he by himself, or does he have a wife?
He has a girlfriend. Him and his son own Tualatin Valley Concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And Brett's a really nice guy. His son, Brett Jr., is a really nice guy. So if you ever need concrete work, that's who you'd want to call.
I got you. I got your card. Pat, my wife, has your card too, so we're going to stay in touch that way too. So what else can I ask you about your work or your family?
Not real close with my family. Don't believe in a lot of the things that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll leave that one there. But I don't know, I've always worked hard all my life.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I have, I own outright. I've earned it by working, and not doing things that, aren't so morally right.
Why did you drop out of school?
Because I actually got in trouble.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up moving and just went and got a GED. And then from there, I moved from Vancouver to Oklahoma and lived with my dad because I was just running with the wrong crowd and stuff.
Okay.
And then I went back there and got a job working in an egg plant. Saved some
eggplant?
Yeah, it was Carpenter's Egg Plant in Sulphur, Oklahoma. Yep, we were processing eggs. I was a driver for a while, going out to the farms and picking up the eggs and stuff. And then they found out that I had some mechanical abilities, and they put me in the plant repairing machinery and stuff like that, fixing little things. But I did that for a while, and then got into trade school with diesels, and went and worked in a body shop, and then went up to Oklahoma State Tech and finished out up there, and then came back here and started twisting wrenches and hated it.
Twisting wrenches?
Yeah, haven't done that in 32 years. I don't even like changing my own oil now.
Well, I dropped out at junior high because I was just bored stiff, and it was depression time. And I thought there was something wrong with our family because we were really poor.
I think everybody was back then.
I don't know. I didn't learn until years later. Everybody was poor.
My grandparents told me some of the stories back in the Depression. So, yeah.
You're looking forward to our next depression?
No. No, I'm hoping that we stay flowing and working and no more wars, and everybody can learn to love each other a little better than what they do now. So
I think about that song. It was on TV yesterday. Imagine, the Beatles. Imagine all those people.
Yeah.
That's a theme song it's lasting for ages and ages. Yeah.
Maybe I'll try and karaoke that one. I like to karaoke.
Yeah. Do you sing?
Yeah, a couple of songs.
Oh man, we have just enough time for you to give me a few bars or one.
No, that's all right.
Yeah.
I don't think the viewers want to hear that.
Well, yes, we do.
So.
You got a one line or two? You don't have to.
No, I'm going to pass on that one.
So we're running out of time. So what I would suggest you do is look at that camera and tell the viewers whatever you want to tell them about anything, and without using any commercial names like that, what happened on the show or anything else that you think they'd be interested in, to prove that I believe that you're an extraordinary human being, or anything else. Go for about a minute or two.
Putting me on the spot here. Well, I don't know, I guess just always try to do the right thing for yourself and other people. I'm learning that there's some things I need to change about myself, and I'm in the process of doing that. I believe that if you're going to go out and do a job, do it to the best of your abilities, or leave it to somebody that can. I'm not a person that claims to know everything about everything, but what I do know things about, I'm fairly good at it. And I don't know, I guess just love life and try to enjoy, the people around you and, what you do. Firm believer in that if you don't like how your life's going, change it. You're the only one that can do it. So that's where I'm at on that, I guess.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it was great being on your show.
Okay, great. So now it's close to time for us to stop visiting. Get ready to say goodnight. Keep those pens and pencils handy because you may want to jot down something that we'll show you in the closing credits. And thanks for watching. I invite you to give us feedback, both positive and negative. And I guess you want me to tell you about some public service announcements. To watch my shows on the web, Google Don Baham YouTube. There's a lot of shows on the web that you can see, some of my previous guests and like that. And another public service, the American Civil Liberties Union. I think the ACLU is wonderful. I've been a member for so many years because our civil liberties are very important to have this democracy work the way it's working. Go to www.aclu.org and the phone number 212-549-2500 to learn more about the ACLU. It's really important to keep our country going. And we got to end corporate personhoods. Our corporations are not persons, and money is not speech. We got to change that. Go to move to amend the Constitution to say that. www.moved. And thanks for watching. And remember KFC, this is important. Not Kentucky Fried Chicken, Dr. Don's KFC. Kind, friendly, and charitable. To you too, and you too, especially you. So again, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.